You're a transformational leader, as I might say. But before becoming that, were you yourself a realized leader, or did you have to work your way to become what you are today?
Oh, I have to work. Definitely, I have to work on myself first. Absolutely on myself. Whatever I teach, there's one thing that people say. Okay, how can you transform so well? So I say, if something I can't do, I won't teach. So that's the funda for me. So what I do is normally whenever I teach something, so I look at myself and I say, can you do this? If you're saying that you have to do this, can you do this? I would have already tried that. I would have already done that.
Hey, this is Meenamma, and I'm here in my favorite program, Made in Vizag. Meet Meenamma rolls out one champion of my city, Vishakhapatnam, every week. And this week we have with us a handsome, smart, erudite, well known orator and leader, the kingmaker himself. Meet KVT Ramesh. KVT Ramesh, formerly known as KVT, is a serial entrepreneur, a leader who has created dozens of leaders around him, a transformational trainer, having trained a few thousands of people across 14 different countries. People call him mad, just like a Make a Difference. He's a madman with initiatives like the 5 a.m. Club, has transformed thousands of people from fat to fit. Another initiative is Pick a Book, a revolutionary concept ideated by him to inculcate the habit of reading in people. Pick a Book is a story now whose open book is available in 5 countries. KVT's goal is to inculcate the habit of reading in millions of people across the globe through this Pick a Book initiative. A master of networking, he launched BNI. Sounds familiar? The world's leading business networking organization in 8 cities. Transformed BNI Sri Lanka from a 22-member country to a 500 plus member country in just 22 months. Under his leadership, BNI Vishakhapatnam has grown close to almost 1,000 members and has stood at the 4th rank in the world among 1,100 plus regions. He is the National Director of Corporate Connections India, a global network. He builds people together. He's a founder of the Beach Network and the firm owner of Action Coach AP in Telangana. He has also played key roles in networking organizations like the JCI, where he was president, and the CII Youth Wing as the chairman. KVT brings with him a lots of energy. He came as a wave to the city. He's not from Vizag. He flew in and settled here like a little migratory bird. But he changed the ecosystem forever. Because if at all, many of us can stand tall in the corporate world and say, we learned corporate values and have been trained by the best. We can say our teacher was KVT Ramesh. It's wonderful to have you, Ramesh, with us, and it's a great honor for Meenamma to sit like this with you and talk to you.
Honor is mine, really, Meenamma, because I've seen you, and in fact, you're so admirable. It's not just for me, for a lot of people who maybe flew to Vishakhapatnam and settled here, because you're an inspiration. I know that I remember my early days of 2013 when I came here and I was trying to build this BNI here, and you were one among them who helped me. Took me to places, took me to Walter Club, took me to different networks that you are already part of, and then introduced me to there. So I think, if there is a success here in Vishakhapatnam that I have created, it's not created by me, but it is created by people like you.
Many of us.
Sitting with you is really a big honor for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you. Ramesh, you were born in Palakol. It's also very close to where we are. You came to Vizag as a choice. Before that, you impacted in other countries and other cities, and the Sri Lanka story, the chapter, is a historical archive story. But why Vizag? Why did you come to our city and make such a difference?
Before even talking about why Vizag, I should talk about why BNI, because I joined BNI as a member. When I joined BNI as a member, I have clearly seen how BNI can change lives, especially the businessman life. Uh, you know, it can increase the number of customers for you as a business owner, and also give you a lot of learnings about how business has to be handled. So from there, I got super inspired, and I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity to start BNI if I get an opportunity. That's when I spoke to national team, and national team said that, okay, we haven't started in actual Andhra side and all that. So I had two options. One, I have to either choose Vishakhapatnam or Vijayawada. So I thought somehow I really liked the beauty of Vijayawada. I didn't know much about, I'm talking about Vizag, but I didn't really know much about Vishakhapatnam people. It's just the beauty of the city which attracted me. I thought, okay, I think this is the place. And I'm a strong believer of vibes also. So when you come to a city, you get a vibe.
You feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it, and which I felt when I came here for the first time for a small recce kind of thing. So I really liked it. And then I went back, I chose, let me go to Vishakhapatnam. That's how it all started.
KVT, before BNI, before all these wonderful things happened to you, before you got into the training slot, who was Ramesh? Do you know what is your childhood all about and how it has shaped you to what you are? I want to tell us the story, because we met you, handsome young man, but there was a little boy whom we missed in Vizag. So, who was KVT as a young boy, and what were his aspirations?
Like you said, yeah, KVT, as a young boy, he was living in Palakolu, grew up there only. I was studying there, and studied my graduation also in a small town called Penugonda, close to Palakolu. As I was studying, my mind was very, very clear that I have to get into job. So because there was a lot of force from my family. But when I entered my degree, so slowly my aspirations have become bigger and bigger. And then I thought, okay, job won't give me anything that I'm thinking. So I have to start something. So
this job was a typical government job you were looking at?
no, not exactly. So mom wanted me always to get into some kind of, engineering, and then get into a permanent job, because somehow in my dad's generation, they've seen a failure in their business. So somehow in their mind, business is not stable. If you want to really settle in life, you need to have a permanent job or something like that. That actually pushed me too much into that kind of mindset. Okay, no, you have to get into a job. But then, like how I said, when I was in graduation, I've decided, no, I'm going to start something on my own. That's how it all started. So there was a sick unit of soft drink manufacturing company
In your area?
in my area, which my father's friend was running it, and then he was not doing it much there. Then I spoke to him. I said, well, why can't we start together? And
How old were you at that time?
I was just 19 years, I think.
So the entrepreneur was waking
Yeah.
up at the age of 19.
Exactly. That's
And are you the first one to get into business in your house, or?
Not exactly. Dad was also into business, but then, like how I said, because they've seen failure, they never wanted their
Child to go through that.
Yeah, that's where I had to actually discuss a lot with my parents, convince them that I'm going to make it. Don't worry, and all that. So I still remember first time when I said that, my mom said, okay, no, it's not going to work for you. I said, okay, what do you mean by not going to work? So she said, okay, if you're confident, show me 2 lakh in your bank account in just 1 year's time. If you can, then maybe we'll see that, this is going to work for you. Eventually it worked well for me in 1 year. I've seen that 2 lakh, and then from there it all started. They believed that I can make it.
KVT, your journey as a serial entrepreneur. Believe me, the word serial is more important here. Every one of us wants to be an entrepreneur. But a serial entrepreneur is somebody who actually does a BOT kind of business. He operates and transfers, because he's confident that his module is going to work. So, from now onwards, you've started transforming lives. It is not that you started an entrepreneurial journey. You kept resurrecting yourself. Every stage, you were a different avatar of Ramesh. So tell us about how this happened. What is that spark? Was there a moment that you met yourself as an entrepreneur and decided that I will do things and impact? Or did you not know that you're going to make such a difference when you got into the mainstream of entrepreneurship? How was it?
I see. So one thing is very clear. When I started my entrepreneurship, I really didn't have this idea of maybe making an impact, creating something really big and all that. My idea was I have to make really big in life. That's the only thing. I didn't really know about all these things. Maybe like most of us in life. But then, when I was doing this business, I still remember in 2007 is when I attended a program by Mahatriya, so Infinitism. Okay. So that program is what made all the difference to my life. So that's when
I love the way he speaks.
because he made me realize that human potential is something really way beyond the way we think. So from then on, the way I look at my life, I look at business, everything changed. And if you ask me spark, the spark is ignited by Mahatriya.
He's a wonderful
that's my turning point.
See, you chose a very different, soft business. Now, you're in the business of training people. You're in the business of guiding sparks. You're in the business of putting the soul into the substance. See, everybody else did the palpable business where we bought and sold. But you didn't. You created. And with creating, you gave life to your business. You're a transformational leader, as I might say. But before becoming that, were you yourself a realized leader, or did you have to work your way to become what you are today?
Oh, I have to work. Definitely, I have to work on myself first. Absolutely on myself. Whatever I teach, there's one thing that people say. Okay, how can you transform so well? So I say, if something I can't do, I won't teach. So that's the funda for me. So what I do is normally whenever I teach something, so I look at myself and I say, can you do this? If you're saying that you have to do this, can you do this? I would have already tried that. I would have already done that. So for example, that I started this thing called 5am Club.
Yes.
So I made people to wake up early in the morning, come to beach road or do different kind of activities to make sure they keep their health, fitness intact. For that, I have to first wake up at 5 o'clock.
You have to be the role model for yourself.
Exactly. So I've done that. I've done that for years together, and then I know that it is possible. Then I teach. Maybe transformational training and all that happens when you yourself are living by it. Right. So that's something that I believe.
Before we go to the other things, you've done lots. But I think the first step is BNI. I think that gave you the identity. I think, I remember when the first time we met, Razzmatazz was doing well. We were busy, hands-on, and suddenly this handsome boy walks in saying, "Ma'am, I would like to start BNI." And, this word business, network, it sounded like something we were doing all the time. And I didn't take you seriously at that moment because I thought, okay, this is another person who's aspiring to make a difference. God bless him. Let's hope that he makes it big. But the next thing I know was that we were all part of Amigos BNI, and every, coming together, staying together, working together, simple things like how do you introduce yourself in 1 minute or 30 seconds. So even a very well-known speaker like me, I was well-known and very senior. I used to stutter and stammer because, these are those parts where we realize that how much ever we know about ourselves, to project yourself within a certain amount is not possible. So these are the things, the lessons of, punctuality, collaboration. All of us work in an ocean. BNI taught us how we can pat each other's backs and how we can grow step by step as a family. So the ethics or the ethos and the vision of BNI, can you tell us more about it? Before you came to Vizag, how you were convinced and what were the principles that actually attracted you to come and get this into the system in Andhra Pradesh?
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for asking that question because that is something that I love from this organization. So because when I joined as a member, like how I've told, I've joined as a member in Hyderabad, BNI. When I've joined, I've clearly seen a lot of people getting transformed. Especially my closest friends, I know that they never used to come for anything in their life consistently. For anything. I'm not even talking about coming to a business meeting. Even for anything, you talk about, okay, this guy can do a thing for 3 times continuously on time. 4th time, he is not there at all. Yes. So such kind of people got transformed. They were very regular to the chapter meetings. They're very regular in whatever they've committed because of the culture which is set by BNI. So that's when I thought, I think this is so close to my heart. fortunately, I don't know, because of Matriya or maybe because of my mom, dad, I mean, so my success mantra is because of my discipline. So I do things as I plan. So it's not random or no, I don't. I commit something, I
You
don't do it.
strategize
So
your life every day. You plan every day what you're doing.
absolutely. So that's why I got connected to it. I thought, okay, this is going to work. So when I came to Vishakhapatnam, uh, of course, initially it was a lot of pushback. There were people who used to say that, okay, what are you trying to say? So BNI meeting in the morning 7:30, it won't happen. You have to make it evening and all that. I said, no, it's going to work. Let's see. So though there are people who said that it may not be possible and all that, but then the same set of people said that let's try. Because they want the people of Vishakhapatnam. I can, even if there are opportunities for me to talk 100 times about them, I can tell you, people of Vishakhapatnam are so warm, so warm, so welcoming. Otherwise, people like us wouldn't have survived here at all. I'm not saying this because I made it big in Vishakhapatnam, but I'm telling you, I made it big because of people. Vishakhapatnam people, they're very, very warm. So though they were actually hesitating morning, how can we wake up and come and all that, but then they were ready to change. They were ready to get transformed because they love to do this, but somehow they were not doing it because of the culture that they have set for a number of days. That was a transformation for me also to look at people. So that's what happened in Vishakhapatnam.
This market called life, all of us come with the confidence that we have it all and we are well equipped to handle our bit of the cake. It's only when we jump into the water we realize that we have to keep getting stronger so that the waves, that strong waves that hit us, we should be able to fight. I think what happened at that time is there were a lot of, like, as an event manager, I remember I thought, the whole night we used to work and come back at 2, and then, oh my God, 7 o'clock I have to go for BNI meeting, and then I had to pay for my breakfast. Then I realized that there is never free breakfast in life. It's a lesson by itself.
Absolutely.
Nobody gives you anything free. For everything you pay. And when you pay, you know the value of what you're paying for.
Seriousness.
I still remember like the presentations that, especially, BNI was open to everybody in their categories. So we would have people who were not educated in the true sense, formal sense of the word, but they were very brilliant in their work. And they were sharing stories with us, and it humbled many of us who came with massive egos. But what do you think are the main qualities for somebody to be a good leader? Everybody can't be a good leader. So what are the 3 good qualities that you always look at? Now, when you grow your network, you will always be looking for those qualities in your camaraderie group, in your own fraternity. They might be young, they might be old, they might not be in your own category, but you see the spark. So what are the characteristics that you see?
I would say the first one is definitely to be genuinely interested in others' growth. Okay, let's say that you have a team of people who treat you as leader. You can actually become a leader only when you genuinely show your interest in their growth. That's when you grow in life. So this is an inspiration for me from a lot of people. When I've seen people who genuinely show care about people that they're under them, and then they show the great path. And I've seen people actually showing the path and push them to reach a place maybe a little above them.
That is selfless.
That's selfless quality that somebody can become a great leader. And that's when it happens. So people keep asking me, okay, KVT, you create a leader and suddenly that guy will become, maybe independently he'll start something, and then he may become bigger than you. What will happen to you? Maybe in your business, if you do that, if he starts a competitive organization, what will happen to you? So I always say that, go back to at least 20, 30 years. And there were, our ancestors, they've started something and they've created leaders. And there are a lot of people who have started the same business, maybe became bigger than them, but they were happy. Because even today, they'll come back and say that we have started our gurus that way.
Yes.
And today, for example, from me, there are a lot of people who have, grown and moved out of Vishakhapatnam from member stage to heading a region as executive director. I have 6 such guys.
Okay. Wonderful. From Vizag?
From Vizag, absolutely.
Oh, I'm so proud to hear that.
Raipur is one city, Vijayawada, East Godavari, and there are a lot of places where people have actually born out of BNI Vishakhapatnam and then moved out and started the other regions. I'm just telling you how it impacts. Okay, maybe a lot of members who are there under them, I don't even know them personally, but they keep respecting me by saying, because they keep listening from their leader by saying, okay, my guru is KVT. That's the power of it. So I personally believe one quality that we should see in leaders is be genuinely interested in the growth of others. I think that will make you a better leader.
There are many organizations, international, like the JCI, training institutes, that actually, if you're interested, they can groom you and make you a leader. But BNI is a different module. It is a very homely group where you're like brothers and sisters. But the father of the team, however young, however KVT he is the one who calls the shots. So the entire burden of your group or your chapter depends on that one spark. Because if that spark burns well, everything is ignited. If it burns badly, everything is burned. So you came in at a time to a new city, new energies. You didn't know whom you were talking to. And lo and behold, you had a head table with 30 people and some people you just met. With what confidence did Ramesh take that role? Because I still remember, I never seen you stammering or stuttering. You were always very confident. In fact, I've actually gazed at you and wondered, where is this boy from and how can he talk to such seniors with so much confidence and clarity? So there must have been some person, somebody within the network who inspired you to think that BNI is the answer, isn't it? So tell us about this person. Who's this person from BNI who could have made a probable difference?
Oh yeah, see, I have seen Max Srinivasan, who's also the global market president. He grew in BNI. Again, he just started as an executive director. He started a region by himself. From there, he's become a global leader. So he was the head of a global BNI. He played that role called global market president. So I've seen him as a leader. I've seen him how he grew and how he made a difference to a lot of people. How confidently he spoke about BNI's concept. So that was my inspiration, because I used to see these leaders when I just started as a BNI leader. And then when I came here, so when you're saying that I was confidently talking to people, because my belief is in the system. And it's not about my personal confidence, or it's not just self-confidence, it is confidence on the system that it's going to work. Because I have seen so many stories, I've seen so many people getting transformed and getting benefited, not just in terms of business, but also in terms of personal benefits. Somebody who got stuck with some legal issue, some police support has come because of one of the BNI members, and somebody who met with an accident. Almost like 10 of their chapter members came together, took him to the hospital, saved him, and gave money also. It's not just about taking him there. And that I've seen. I've seen personally. There was one member who was traveling in Sri Lanka, met with an accident. He's not member from Vishakhapatnam, somewhere from Tamil Nadu. That executive director called me, can we do something, because this guy met with an accident and he was still there. Nobody is actually taking care of that person. Then I had to speak to a few of my members there, my directors of Colombo. And they went there, took care of him, took him to the hospital in Colombo, made sure that he survived. And from there, his father called me and said that, thank you so much, sir. All these days when my boy is going to the chapter meetings, I didn't understand why is this guy going, wasting time and all that. But suddenly I understood. So when I had so many stories back in my mind, when I'm speaking to people, I don't mind whom I'm speaking to, because I know this is a concept which is going to work for sure.
I want to take you back to Sri Lanka. You had only 22 people when you started.
Correct.
But when you ended your innings, you had 5,000 plus.
500
plus. For a small island country like Sri Lanka, it's relatively a poor country with very few entrepreneurs, I might say. Now, suddenly there's a boom. How was that challenge? Going to a country like that and then growing it to a level where it's become self-sufficient. And Sri Lanka is a success story for you.
Correct.
How was it, KVT?
Frankly, BNI is a bigger success story for me than Vishakhapatnam, because when I was I've seen success in Visakhapatnam. There are few of the executive directors in India. At a national level, people know that, okay, a boy who moved from one city to another city where he didn't have any contacts but started an organization and built it. But then when I've done something, what I've done in Sri Lanka is actually it gave me all the visibility possible across the globe, across all the countries. Even global leaders started recognizing, okay, it's a great achievement. For me, I don't know, even when I had to take up that role, it was very, very tough because BNI was there for around 8 years by then.
Yes.
And I took it. For 8 years, there were about 24, 22 members.
Yes.
It was actually tough. But I always believe in something called the bigger the challenge, the better the leader.
Yes,
The bigger
very
you'll
true.
become a leader. So that's where I've taken the challenge again, thanks to Max Srinivasan, because he gave me the opportunity. So he believed in me, said that, okay, try with that, it should success. And then I entered the market. Of course, initially I had my challenges because in Sri Lanka, somehow they believe that, okay, a lot of times they had bad experiences with Indians, so they don't have a complete trust on Indians, especially. So that's when I had to earn that respect first.
Very true.
I was with them. I spent time with them. I brought them here for some trainings and all that. I showed them what India is. One or two bad experiences cannot make a country bad and all that. This is what I have showed them. After they've come here, seen our hospitality and all that, they believed in it. They went back, started becoming great leaders there, and started becoming a great support for me. From then on, the ideas that I was coming up with, strategies that I was coming up with, I have beautiful people there in Sri Lanka. Still, I have great relationships in Sri Lanka. Because of the local leaders, their support and their trust on me, on my leadership ability, is what made Sri Lanka.
Now, Vizag is how many years old for you, BNI?
10 years now.
10 years, almost 1,000 solid team of people.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you stop on the road and turn back? 10 years went in a jiffy, isn't it?
Yes.
But you made 1,000 friends and their families. And today, you are a household name, KVT, especially for a younger generation. The younger people know you as the leader, the transformational leader. It's a God-sent gift to you. And to be a leader, you have to actually carry the aura. And you have the personality. You carried it beautifully. Now you start something called the 5 a.m. club a few years ago, and you get fitness into the house. I would imagine that most of the people who are running with you at 5 a.m. are BNI members. Some of them are also not. Because I personally have a friend who's 75 years and she swears by you. She gets up at 5 a.m. to impress you that she runs and walks. So tell us about fitness. Why the sudden thing on fitness? There were so many options. You could have done, value systems or essence of life or leadership in a different prong, but you chose fitness. So why was fitness so important to you for Vizag?
Thanks again for this question. I haven't shared exactly why I started this fitness, but I'll reveal a secret here. Okay. One, of course, I've been a fitness freak because I've started my fitness journey when I was in my intermediate. So I've started karate and then I did some good belts. Now, I'm sure if you're aware of it, I moved to almost brown belt. And then I did the good 3 years time it took for me to learn all those things. And from then on, I got into gym. I built 6-pack abs, did everything. So I was a fitness freak. So all through my life, though I was doing all the businesses, all through my life. When I've come to Visakhapatnam, so for me, waking up at 5 o'clock was not new.
It is part of the whole system.
It's part of the whole system. Taking care of health was not new. And I've started cycling and I had few people like Radhika Satish and others. We were like-minded people. We started and she was also great support for me in my life. And then, we all started going for cycling and all that. We started enjoying that because all of us love fitness. All of us are interested in it.
And the byproduct is happiness for good business and good fitness.
Exactly. Hari and Radhika Satish also, few of us were doing it. Then, but when I come back to chapter meetings, there are few people always used to complain by saying, KVT 7:30 is too much.
But 5 o'clock was okay.
Can you make it 9 o'clock or something? Then I thought, okay, let me make a difference at least to these people. That's how I come up with a concept called 5 a.m. club. How many of you are interested in waking up early? I'll give you the tips and tricks. and also make you get into fitness. And that's how it all started.
Started.
But by then I was part of JCI also as a
Yes,
member.
yes.
And I have some local friends also. Even they joined. So it's not just BNI.
Yes.
But idea was to make sure that BNI members come to chapter meetings on time if they wake up at 5
Very
o'clock.
true.
That's how it
And there's
started.
some very inspirational Vizag. It's a younger generation, Rana Uppalapati,
Yeah.
and wonderful people who actually teach you the value system. He skates early in the morning and takes the message of Vishakhapatnam across wherever he goes. KVT, you are a handsome boy, good personality. You talk so well. You talk about fitness. Did movie roles, film roles in Tollywood ever come your way? I'm sure they did.
Yes, they did. When I was in Hyderabad, of course, there were opportunities, and even in Vishakhapatnam, even through BNI, also there were opportunities. But somehow I don't feel that it is a career by itself.
Okay.
Somehow because that's my belief. I may be wrong also because so if it is not long enough for you, then it is not a career. Is what I think.
It should not end if it's
It
a
should
career.
not end
Yes.
just because you don't have support, or maybe just
Correct.
because you have 2-3 movies super success and then suddenly. I've seen that side of story a lot in movies, so somehow I was never
Never
inclined
end
to
with
that.
movies, yes.
Not at all. And moreover, I'm good with this. I know how my strength is business. I never wanted
How
to.
important is it? You start pick a book. Now, see, you seem to have your pulse on the current values. As a mother of children, growing children, and I used to always worry that my children were not reading, and there's a whole generation that has become digital idiots. In fact, the digital media gives you, on a platter all the wrong information that many kids have forgotten to read. Then you start pick a book, and it's a revolutionary thing because you teach us. Maybe during the COVID, everybody was writing also.
Correct.
So how to write, how to become a writer, how to become a reader, how you can actually pick a book and make a difference. And pick a book is now in 4 different countries, and it's your baby.
Correct.
It's your baby. You just pick the idea and put it into a book. And I've also experienced the pleasure of talking to some of the girls who work with you on an interview. And when I became a book, bestseller, tell us about pick a book. In a world that is growing more and more into looking and visualizing digital matter, pick a book. How fresh the idea is, and how did it come to you?
So it's again like that I've been training. I've been going around, and I've traveled to around 14 countries, trained business people, business directors, leaders, and all that. Especially BNI also. Now, while training, I always take references from books because my knowledge is because of books. I read a lot. So I always take references. When I take references, the listeners or maybe the trainees who are in the room always get inspired and say that, okay, sir, tell me what is the book that I have to read for this particular subject. I used to give suggestions, but then if I go back after 3 months or 4 months, they wouldn't have read. This was a challenge that I've seen. So it's not about knowing. End of the day, it's all about doing.
About picking that book.
Yeah, picking that book. That's when I formulated this idea because there's another madman like me in Sri Lanka who was one of my leaders, Raghulan.
Yes,
So both of us actually started thinking about it. And he is also a big book lover. So we thought, okay, why can't we start this?
What do you do in pick a book?
What we do in Pick a Book is we make people read books.
Okay.
So we meet once in a week as a group.
Ah.
When we meet once in a week as a group, we keep sharing about what are the books we have read in that particular week.
Okay.
And what is the learning that they have from the books. And one of them will actually present a book that he has recently completed.
Oh,
so
nice.
he or she. So now one is like, you're going to meet 52 times in a year.
Yes.
Even if you won't pick up one book, you're going to listen to at least 52 books.
Yes.
So that gives you that inspiration. So I believe in something called you are an average of 5 people you go around with. If you are with people like them, then somewhere you get inspired and then pick that book and read it. That was the idea. And it's going well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do you also have meetings? Do you also have trainings?
Yes.
Do you support writers? Do you help us in publishing?
Yes. So we have collaborations. We have collaborations with a person called Murali Sundaram. I'm sure that
Yes,
very,
the
very
wonderful Murali Sundaram of
Murali
TLC.
Exactly. So he helps me and my members when it comes to writing part of it. And other things, we have different modules of trainings which we give our members free. One, speed reading. One of the biggest challenges for people why they don't pick up book, or maybe even they'll
time.
stop after three pages or 4 pages, is because they don't read fast. If they don't read fast, somehow it becomes
Dies
little challenging for them. That's what we do. So we teach them speed reading. We teach them about certain techniques in reading, and we teach them how to present the books also. What are the points that you need to pick up and all. So these are the things which makes people get excited about it and then come again and again and then be part of it.
Having founded the Beach Network and also the action coach for AP and Telangana, what are the common challenges that you have observed among businessmen and or business houses, and how do you make your strategy? Supposing you're going to meet people of such and such business communities, their value systems are different, their requirements are different. How do you build your strategy? How do you change your presentation depending upon what level of coaching you need to do?
Frankly, the chassis is same. Okay, so for business success, I've heard from a lot of successful business owners, big guys, they always say, if you are successful in one business, there's no reason for you not to be successful in other businesses, which means the chassis that we talk about is the same for businesses. Somehow the challenges that you face are little different. If you can just identify that and then give them the right guidance, any business can be a big success. This is what Action Coach teaches us. Action Coach is a 30-year-old organization from US again. I've taken the franchisee for Andhra Telangana and I'm handling it right now. It is almost like hand-holding businesses. So they give one-to-one coaching. It's like, if you go to gym, you have a personal trainer. This is like personal training. So now what happens, we go dig deep. And what we do is there is something called diagnosis. Normally how you get your body diagnosed. So we do business diagnosis.
Your SWOT, your analysis.
Business diagnosis. So then we find what are the areas that you have to focus on. Then we coach them on a weekly basis and we give them certain tasks. And after he comes back after a week, we say, boss, this has to be corrected and all that. So obviously in 3 months time or 4 months time, things get settled and then slowly they'll see a massive growth. We promise people 60% to 80% growth in the first year itself. Things like that will work.
And there are success stories like this.
Absolutely.
Why don't you share one story from your journey where you personally have seen a really zero to hero transformation? I'm sure you must have seen many, but what is your favorite?
No, like you said, I've seen many. Action Coach, we've just started, okay? We've just seen 2.5 months of growth in businesses that we are personally supporting. But I've seen people, when you correct them in right areas, they can make a huge difference in the businesses they're doing. So a lot of times, fortunately, unfortunately, we'll only look at people who have really made a lot of money, people made big in their life, and then we wanted to go back and see their success. I've seen few people who are yet to make it big in their life, but they've already made significant difference in their life. One boy who started his life as an employee, who's just a intermediate failed guy. He started, I don't want to name because I'm not really sure if he's okay with the name. This boy started as an employee in a plywood retail store.
Okay.
And then he somehow got inspired, and then slowly he moved out of that as an employee, become a consultant for interior products.
Oh, it was an akin industry.
Exactly. So he started supplying interior products upon orders. Like he'll come to you, ask if you need any interior product, then he'll go source it and then give it to you. So he started making some money. So from a boy who's actually traveling, commuting in a bicycle, so he bought a bike. So he was like super happy. Now he started going to more and more clients. This is a real story in Visakhapatnam. And then he slowly got more number of clients. People started trusting him. People started respecting his, his passion. And then from there, what happened? He started an office, interior designing and execution. Today you have to see. So he is doing good 60 to 80 lakhs business.
Oh, wonderful! So proud of him.
Like that's what I'm saying. This is not that big story that you can get to hear from people, but it is significantly big.
For him, it's a world of difference.
Absolutely. This guy recently bought a car. He shot a beautiful video, and then in the video it was clearly you can see his pride. You can see a boy who was actually going in a cycle and now he's.
Yeah, I really want to thank you for such stories. I mean, it's inspiring. I get goosebumps listening because I started my life as a teacher with 500 rupees salary, and I know how that happiness can, grow in steps, and every step matters.
Yeah, it
KVT.
matters. It matters.
Now you have your hand holding in starting something known as corporate connections.
Correct.
So we see that in the system, the ecosystem, from the grassroots, you're slowly coming up in the ladder. And I see there may be HNI clients and people who can afford to tell a bigger story, and maybe their problems are also different and bigger. So tell us about corporate connections and how corporate connections is going to impact in the next 10 years.
Absolutely, because corporate connections is a little different network altogether. This is a network for HNI. The criteria here is for members to be part of corporate connections network, they have to be at least 100 crore and above turnover company. Only then they can be part of it. So obviously now what happens, it's a cream crowd and curated crowd in the room. So our promise to members who are joining is we curate, we take care of that, and we bring the right people in the room. Now you don't have to worry about what to speak and how to network with them. And so we are filtering the crowd and bringing you the best of the city. Today we have in Visakhapatnam close to 20 members. Who's who of Visakhapatnam, they're part of it, and they're networking with each other and they know what to share. They're actually, these are the people who've already made big in their life, but now learning from their peers and then getting inspired by one another and then looking at what are the things that others should not be doing in the growing. So for example, if you are 100 crore, you're sitting next to a 500 crore guy, you know how to move to 500 crore and what are the challenges that you may encounter and how to address them. So these are the things that they get to learn. Peer-to-peer learning, and that's a global network again. So they go around the world and meet other members, even wherever they go, even if they're going to Hyderabad, going to Delhi, going to Canada, wherever they're going, they know if they're meeting a CC member, he's the kind of person that they want to meet. They don't have to filter, we've already filtered.
Ramesh, a three-tier city like Vizag, it makes you lazy, especially if you have enough money. And I'm talking about the younger generation. I see them in the clubs, I see them in the pubs, I see them in parties. Very smart boys or girls who have traveled abroad and done degrees and come back well equipped to take on life. But then their fathers and grandfathers have left them vast amounts of money, so they are not driven to work beyond that. They're happy. You see them whiling away their time. And this is one part of the new generation. The other side of the generation is a hungry middle class generation that is, who are working up to improve the standard of their life. So you must be seeing in the corporate connections, you must be seeing both the generations.
Absolutely.
And there are some of them who are lost cases, whose parents have worked hard and got that money to the table. But they work too hard, that there's so much that the children don't deem it fit to work. How do you help such a generation where they do not know the value of not what they have, but what they have internally, which they're not bringing out? It's not what they have, in terms of monetary thing, or it's who they are that they're losing. Have you done anything for this part of Vizag?
Absolutely. See, corporate connections itself is actually helping people. But then personally, if you ask me, if I meet a person who's little off track and is not ready to really make it big, or maybe they've seen success of their family and they feel like they don't need to do anything, I always bring in stories. So because,
but do you leave them or do you try to allure them?
I definitely try to talk to them and make sure they understand the value and importance of making it big. So yeah, somebody else, whether it is your father, grandfather, whoever it is somebody else. It's not at you.
Not you.
So I tell, business is not for money. Business is not for maybe making more people come into business or maybe helping a lot. This is not business. Business is expression of ability. I tell people, you have to express your ability. What is your ability and what are you doing with it? So if you don't express your ability, how do you even know how good or how big you are? You'll never be able to do that. That sometimes inspires people, and I always bring in stories. Yeah. So I have a lot of people whose their earlier generations were very, very big, but still they strive. They work so hard to make it big. One such boy that I also, from Amigos stays, Ajay Manchkonda.
Yes, very hardworking
Yeah,
boy.
you know that even he is in a state where he doesn't need to do much because he's also seen his father doing or maybe his parents doing. And even today, if you see that, he's so passionate in
Yes,
running
yes.
businesses. So when I look at people, I feel like, okay, business, so my statement gets, justified by saying business is expressing your ability. Keep expressing that, that's what
I know. You always be known as a madman. I remember my friend who started Make a Difference in India and made such a difference. How does KVT view making a difference for my city, Vizag, for our city, Vizag? In the years to come, what are the plans?
So, frankly, whenever people ask, "Are you from Vizag?" I always tell I'm not from Vizag, but I'm for Vizag for sure because I'm not made out of this city, but I'm made for the city. So this is my way of looking at this. So I'm 100% sure I'm going to do something for the city to make a difference to the people who are around, especially because my space is business and my space is fitness. These two areas I'm going to make a difference for sure.
Very
So
true.
one, of course, through BNI, whatever I've done, and now personally I'm actually working on Action Coach. Through Action Coach, I'll handhold a lot of businesses. When I handhold at least 2-3 large businesses, they inspire the more number of people in their organization and even the businesses who are ancillary to those businesses. Everything will happen. So with the way that I'm working with the concepts I'm coming. And when it comes to fitness, of course, 5M Club is something that I've already started. But then there's another thing that I'm coming up with to make sure that people are going to be fit forever. So fitness is not just about six pack. Fitness is not about muscle.
It's a full journey.
It's beyond all those things, and it's a journey, like you said. It's a journey. So these two areas is something that I really want to do it big. So
Ramesh, first time I saw you, you were a bachelor. Within a few years, I saw a beautiful wife. Then I saw a lovely little girl. So the family, the little nest has become full.
yes.
How do you? Normally, women ask this question. How do you make that balance between your work and your family? Because as a leader, the sky's the limit. It's your own business. It's your own story. So sometimes you forget that you can close the book and relax. You think you have to write all the time, and you're always on the road. You're always dressed like this in every place and impacting. How do you decide now this is my family time? Because many young people, they find it difficult, especially running businesses. It's very difficult, because you have that prime customer whom you have to impress at 9 in the night, and your little child is also going to sleep, but you have to be there. How do you balance this?
Oh, so I'm very, very clear on that because I always tell people also make sure that you plan your 5 priorities that you have in life. What are your top 5 priorities? For me, fitness, business, family, making an impact, and then most importantly, business. Inspiring businesses. These are all the priorities that I have. When I have these as priorities, I make sure that all my, every single day that I'm going through will be filled with all of them. It's not just one of them. So I'm very clear on that, and I'm not going to do anything which is not there in my calendar. I calendar every single thing. For example, let's say that so from 14th of this month to 24th of this month, I'm not there. When I'm not there absolutely 100%. I'm not there, and people know that. And I clearly tell people that I'm not there means I'm not there. And you know that being in this position, I have a good 400 odd WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, oh my God.
If you keep answering it, you know that you have to answer only WhatsApp, nothing else. But people know that I don't answer, and I have certain time slots in the day that I answer. I think somehow I got into that kind of a discipline. What I'm doing is what I'm doing seriously. If I'm not doing it, I'm not doing the other stuff at all. So if I'm with family, I'm completely with family and I'm serious about it. If I'm in business, and I'm absolutely serious about it. That's
wonderful, KVT. So today, I would imagine that made in Vizag has two meanings. You and I are made in Vizag. We were not born in Vizag.
correct.
Vizag made us.
Absolutely.
So, when people say, I'm born here, I belong here, and we are also a part of it, because I was speaking to Mr. Prabhu Kishore, so many other people who were born elsewhere. But the impact, Vizag is like that. It grows on you. It's a city that has such a personality that finally it rubs off on you, and you become part of it. And it just hugs you and keeps you within it.
Absolutely.
In closing this beautiful talk that I'm having with you, what are the final things that you would like to say to the younger audience? I'm sure that you are always talking to younger people. You've done fabulous stuff. You've had events where you've had very inspirational people talking to them, but more than those people who come and go, you are the leader that has stayed and held their hands. For all those who do not know who you are and what are the things that they can learn, or what are the inspirational stories or moments that you can tell them about?
Oh, a lot. Like, first, let me complete the one that you've just started. We are made by Visakhapatnam, and I'm really proud of it. Okay, and of course, so if you live for 5 to 8 years, even in US, you'll get green card.
Yes,
we've all got green cards in Visakhapatnam. Okay?
Yes, we're stamped.
Oh yeah, we're stamped. And Visakhapatnam is such city that it accepts people who are passionate about their life. Yeah, that's the first part of it. Second part of it, I don't know about inspiration and all that, but I can tell one thing. It's all about trying to understand somebody's potential. If I am an individual who's living my life, I need to understand my potential. Do whatever you want to do. You want to spend time in pubs, you want to spend time in clubs, and do whatever you want to do, but understand your potential. That's not you are here for, and there is a purpose. Find life's purpose, and then you will see completely a different person altogether in you.
Yes.
That's something that I would always want to talk to these kids, the young kids, because things that they can do with the speed which they can do, you and me cannot.
Correct. This
Seriously,
generation is super fast.
you talk about AI, you talk about technology,
Yes.
you talk about all these things. The same old things that we've been doing for hours together, they can do it in just minutes. So which means they are more potential than us. So it's just that they need to realize their potential. If they understand that, if they just find one purpose for their life, it is sorted. We don't have to really inspire them. They are, self-motivated people, this generation especially. Just that one area that they need to find, okay, this is why I'm here in this world. And that's enough. Vizag has that potential. Super. Yes. I've seen great young guys here. And I'm talking about young guys who've already done well in their life. And also people their families have done well, but they're yet to start their great journey.
They've not realized.
They haven't realized, but there's a lot that they can do.
There's a lot to do. That's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the Kingmaker, the man who made a difference by just spreading happiness and holding hands and training younger people and older people like me on the journey of life. Life is a beautiful journey, and all of us, as we trudge on into dreams and ambitions, we always look at a mentor. We look at somebody who can guide us. A guru or guide doesn't have to be that old fellow with the beard or the amma with the bindi. It can also be a young, handsome boy like this who can teach you right from how to eat right, how to walk, run right, and how to live life king size. So it's an honor. I thank everybody who has invested in improving their lives. Remember, Vizag is the hub of improvement for this country. While the rest of the world might be saying whatever they might be saying, Vizag is going to make a difference to my country, India, and to the world around. And people like KVT will write that story in golden letters for us. Thank you, KVT, for being with me.
Thank you so
and
much.
Meenamma would like you to sign this cup. I borrowed this idea from Karan and coffee. And this would be a reminder that, one day you were here. And as long as life is there, there will always be scope for us to grow, to learn, and to lead. Beautiful. And very important that we all leave our stories back, because our story will be the only true story that we can leave back in our lives.
I think this.
Problem?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get you another one.
Yes.
Sure, let's take a picture in the meantime.
Oh, yeah.